So, I live in the woods now. Like the woods. Woods. So much so that to upload this video, I'm gonna have to drive to the nearest town just to get internet, because there's no internet in the woods. But I wanted to talk to you about my role-playing game Halt, the updates on that, a few other role-playing games from Zinequest that I got in the mail, and just to chat. So welcome to the woods. When I chose to make this video this morning, it was beautiful and sunny out, but I just got a tornado warning, so I got a few things that are pieces of mail and one thing that's my thing. So first off, Matthew Graveland, he made Mall Kids on Zinequest, and I thought it was pretty cool because malls are just one of those places that are a little weird and uncomfortable for me, because they're just, they shouldn't be alive still. They should have gone out by now and all closed their doors, but one, they keep making more malls, and two, everyone has a hometown mall that's just kind of decrepit at this point. I feel like most people's malls are just falling apart or are super outdated and look like they're from the 80s and 90s. First of all, the art by Caitlin Bruder is really awesome and just looks really nice. Inside there's a whole bunch of little sketches and drawings of mall type things like your boss. And while I'm still waiting for my high school friends to get together to play this in our actual hometown mall, it looks like it kind of plays like an exercise in relationships. Like you're trying to figure out how things will make you feel, how things will change how you interact with other people, and how things evolve as time goes on. There's a whole bunch of different malls, like Westlake Mall, Southtown Mall, written by different people, one by Matthew Graveland and a whole bunch by other either Zinequest people or artists or people on Twitter. I'm not exactly sure who all the names are, but the malls are pretty neat. They're hyper specific. You can tell that the malls are built off of people's malls that they had when they were a kid and kind of blown out of proportion a little bit. And it's really neat. It's simple. I'm sure it plays extremely fast, or you can keep going with all of the different experiences that you have with it to make it a longer night. But it's definitely a cool one that I have on my shelf now. So thanks, Matt. Where do I put these now? I'm sorry, Matt. I'm dropping it. That's good. This is like an unboxing, but I actually know what's in all of these. So this is, oh, the name was on it. This is by Orbital Intelligence. The guy's name, Sean Richer, remembered. Terror the Stratosfiend is a DCC RPG supplement, so you can play it in kind of that type of universe that they have, which is the pseudo fantasy type stuff. Or I am going to kind of mix it and do a lot of different things. Mainly because Terror the Stratosfiend, it's kind of setting up ideas and classes and different species that you can use in the DCC, but it seems like I can use it in just about anything. The main reason I got this one was, while Sean was running the Kickstarter, I realized how weird it is. There's a lot of art, cover art by James Everett Jackson, interior art by Two-Headed Giant Skull Thug, James Everett Jackson, and Graz. And the cover's pretty normal, actually. But then you get into these things that I really love, and the art kind of sold it for me, just because I could see where they were going with the classes just through the art. And then now that I'm reading through it, there's just a lot of weird stuff in here, a lot of ideas that kind of take, it seems like you could take a D&D game or a DCC RPG game into like another level, like beyond, it's almost like getting your players to fight gods kind of thing. It just seems like everything's gonna get a little crazier and a little bigger, and you're gonna need some bigger weapons to take out things like, this is something about like demon satellites and oh yeah, Skylasher. There's like terror engines, Earth Mothers, and just a lot of Goliaths that look like Cyclopses. It looks like a blast. I can't wait to jam it into a whole bunch of stuff. 4 new classes, 2 new patrons, new equipment, new armor, new weapons, new weapon system upgrades, which basically the Dead Halt's got a lot of weird weapons and stuff, so armor and weapons I'm definitely going to be looking at for some inspiration. So thanks Sean and everyone at Orbital Intelligence and all the artists. Terror to Stratosfiend is going to look pretty awesome on my shelf. Sorry I have to throw it onto the ground. Oh boy. Alright. So, last but hopefully not least, hello, is Dead Halt. It's my game that I've been making for a while, and it's like this close. I just got all the art for it from my 2 fantastic artists, and now I have like 3 pages left to fill out with stuff, and then I gotta print it. But in the meantime, I've been working on getting the covers printed. I'm printing them all in letterpress, which is basically how they used to print things. So this is kind of what it looks like. It's kind of like a big mechanical automaton, but essentially what it can allow you to do is you can print in gold. And I like gold. So this is one of the final covers for Dead Halt, and it's even got the user manual statement on the back of it. And this is what it'll look like. The bad thing about this, 1, it's getting really windy, and 2, the entire book is blank right now because this is just a test copy. But I'm really excited about all the stuff that's happening in it. I got all of the new character origins done, so you can play as things like Rat Folk, you can play as Toad People, Blank Slate clones, the Spawn, you can play as hacked consoles, goblins, there's a whole bunch of stuff in there. You're also going to be able to upgrade the fall bar to make it a little bit more livable so you don't die as quickly. There's going to be a whole bunch of glitches, malfunctions, and things that keep you from, well, keep you from dying, but also speed up your dying. And it's just gonna get wonkier and wonkier the more I put into it. So we have 3 pages left to fill. 2 of those are adventure arcs. They're gonna be based right in the book. What we found on floor 54 and A Good Day to Die Again are the 2 adventures in that. And speaking of adventure arcs, did you know that if you want to play the playtest for Dead Halt, which you can already download the pretty rough playtest of it on my website, zonware.net. But if you actually want to play an adventure that I came up with a long time ago when I was in New York, I talked about, on a video, I talked about Rats in the Walls, which is one of the adventures I ran a whole bunch of times. And so I made that into an adventure arc, and you can get it on our email list. It's the only place it is. So if you sign up for our email list, I'll put the link below, but also if you go to my website, you can click join on zonware.net. And if you join the email list, it'll get sent right to you with the playtest document and Rats in the Walls, which is like a 2-page spread, quick adventure arc. And speaking of adventure arcs in general, adventure arcs are something I haven't really talked about too much in the past, but mainly what I'm doing with them is they're kind of like adventure modules, just like in any game like D&D or Dungeon World or Starfinder, whatever you want. And so I'm writing up kind of an adventure that you can go on with your friends. But the difference that I'm doing a little bit is that, 1, it's a zine, so it's a little bit smaller, but also I'm condensing down an entire adventure to 2 pages, like maximum, basically. Unless it's something really huge. And so what that'll do is all I give you is I give you characters' names, places you're gonna go, what the job entails, what equipment you'll get, and kind of an overarching like story beats, like where you start, what things will come up, and what you're trying to accomplish. Because I don't want you to kind of get caught up with reading lines of text that I've written or anything like that. I want you to have a wild, off-the-rails adventure. And so I'm just giving you kind of like ideas to spark something, to throw your players into it, because your players are gonna screw with it anyway. I'm just gonna give you the main idea of it, and then there's nothing to screw up. You just can have fun with it. It can go completely off the rails. And who's calling me? Whatever. There are ants all over me. I was sitting directly on top of an anthill. So the moral of the story is the adventure arcs are going to be small so that you are not held back by anything, so that you can let your players do whatever they want and it won't ever catch you off guard, because there's nothing to catch off guard. You got to do it yourself. It'll be a blast, I promise. But the covers are looking great. The last thing we have is I ordered a bunch of floppy disks and then I found a bunch at a garage sale, so I'm essentially swimming in floppy disks. I told you they're going to be used because this is where the adventure arc, the Fate of Fortra, is going. This is the only place Fate of Fortra is going to be released. You can only get it on floppy disk. They're actual floppy disks. They were used by other people. This one's an old AOL disc. This one's a Kodak picture disc. Some of them are those nice clear ones. This one says System Disk Check Y2K, which is the most thematic thing possible. And so while I'm building that adventure, soon they're gonna go on these, and I'm also printing all of the CDs for the soundtrack that is created by the wonderful Brandon Woodruff. It is a weird soundtrack. If you haven't listened to it yet, it's gonna be fantastic. It was made off of a bunch of his home videos from when he was a kid that he took off VHS and then started making music with. So that will make the hotel a little bit more atmospheric. And that's basically all I got for you. Thanks for tuning in. Well, you are still here. You might as well go click on my website below. It's basically up and running. I learned HTML just to make that website so I could make it as terribly 90s as possible. And there's also some other links. I don't know what I'm gonna put down there. Go check them out. They're probably fun. I don't know. Regardless, go play some games, go play some RPGs, and if you got any of those Zinequest games, soon you'll be getting mine sometime. If you've gotten them already, then play one of those, tell the people who made them how wonderful they are, and tell me what I'm missing if I didn't get those. There was a lot of Zinequest projects, and I spent a lot of money on them, but I also couldn't get all of them. So, thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time. Have a good night.